Yeah. What time? Well, yeah, I can pick her up. I might even be able to take her. What? Okay. Yeah, just text me when you take her, and that'll remind me to go straight to pick her up. Okay? Yeah. Oh, I'm still unmuted? Oh my god. right, here we go. Hi there. Let me turn that down. How you doing, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. I did, because I decided to turn it all off this weekend. Lady Boomer and I decided to touch grass, so to speak. Did a couple day trips. One Saturday, we went and searched for the Jolly Green Giant. And then yesterday, we chased some waterfalls. And it was kind of great. It was just get away, don't pay attention to the news, don't let things piss you off. And part of it, the reason was when I woke up Saturday morning, and I opened up that bird. Here, I'm gonna turn it down a little more. I opened up the bird, and that was like, just the propagandists were just out in force. Krasensteins and Joe from Chers and Brooklyn Dad Defiant and Call for Activism. All these just the media matters talking point nut jobs were just they were all over the place, and I just couldn't take it. I was like, hey, Lady Boomer, let's get out of town. So that's what we did, and now I'm getting caught up in the news, so I have got dozens and dozens of headlines. It's going to be kind of we're going to try to do lightning round day, but I see Gun Foxes trying to contribute to my early demise, so we'll go through a couple of those too. But anyway, at least he does it dropping Hamiltons, so I can't complain. So anyway, shall we do this thing? I think we shall. I think it's time, Johnny, for you to play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Alrighty. Shall we dance? 1, 2, 3, and hello, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Why does this sound so low? Can you guys hear me just fine? At least the monitor says you can hear me. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Anyway, hi, happy Monday. It's I had a lovely weekend, as I mentioned earlier, hanging out with Lady Boomer, touching grass and all that stuff. Well, we didn't touch so much grass as much as we touched snow. So first, what we did, we said, there's a place in Minnesota where, the company Green Giant, the Green Giant canned vegetable company, right? They started here in Le Sueur, Minnesota, which is a little town about an hour, maybe not quite an hour that way. I'm just pointing to the southeast or southwest here. And it was the home to Green Giant. Now, every time we used to take our daughter down to school, she went to the University of Minnesota at Cato, and we used to take her to school, and there was a big old sign up on the hill as you're driving down into the valley of the Minnesota River that said, home of Green Giant, whatever, and the big old Green Giant sign, right? And we knew that there was like this big Green Giant statue out there. And so we're like, okay, let's go down and check out the Green Giant statue. So we went to Le Sueur and we had breakfast at a little diner called Luke's. Oops. Oh, you can't see it because of the green screen. Anyway, you can see the Luke's at least, right? You can kind of see that says Luke's. And it was really nice, good. Oh, we didn't go have breakfast because we didn't get there till after almost 1 o'clock. But so I'm one of these people, I'm really into Reuben sandwiches, like a really good Reuben sandwich, because I grew up in Omaha, and one of the places that people claim the Reuben was invented was in Omaha at the King Louis Rose Bowl. They'd have Reuben sandwich there. They'd roast corned beef, and they'd slice it and make this really great Reuben sandwich, right? And so usually I'll go, and if I see a Reuben on the menu, I'll try it one time, and I'll be like, never like the original at the King Louis Rose Bowl, because the one in the King Louis Rose Bowl is really, really good. And at Luke's, where you can't see the cup, but you can see the name, they had probably the best the Reuben sandwich I've ever had outside of the King Louis Rose Bowl. I mean, it was phenomenal. I was like, damn, this is good. So anyway, we did that, and then we went around the circle. We went to the home of there's three or four people who started the company Green Giant, and all three have historic homes there on the National Register of Historic Places. One is William Mayo, who also is famous for the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, the famous hospital people. And then there's the Taylors, and then I can't remember the other name, the names of the hospital. I can't think of it. So we went and saw those houses. They're really cool old houses. But then we like, wait a minute, the Giant's not here. There's not a statue of the Giant here. And we're like, well, where the hell is the Giant? And then we found out, oh my God. We looked it up and we're like, oh, it's in Blue Earth, Minnesota, which is another town that's farther south, like an hour south of Le Sueur. So we're like, okay, well, we'll just wind down some country roads, and the cool thing is we'll just wander. Like, we call it a daycation, so it doesn't really matter where we go. So we're wandering down this country roads, and there was a historic town we passed. We're like, let's go check that out. And we saw this church that was built in like 1860, and an old town hall in this little township. And then we drove down to Blue Earth, and we got pictures next to the giant Jolly Green Giant. And I have it even? I didn't even think of pulling it up. Let me show you a picture of me and Lady Boomer by the Jolly Green Giant. Yes. Ho, ho, ho. I can't get that low. So anyway, let me find this real quick. Oh, I didn't, let me fix this. That's that. Okay, there we go. And, so anyway, we went, what the fuck? The hell's going on here? It's supposed to be, oh, there we go. Let me find, where is it? There's got to be a picture. There we go. Here's the, there we go. Is there a way to full screen this or not? I don't even know. Anyway, so, what the hell? There we go. There's the, so there it is, me and Lady Boomer in front of the giant Jolly Green Giant. So that was kind of fun. And then yesterday, because we were still kind of in a vacationing mood, we went to a couple waterfalls in western Wisconsin, about roughly an hour and a half away. We just drove. We just said, no, let's drive. Let's go to Wisconsin. So we went and had breakfast in, what the hell is the time? Somerset, Wisconsin, at this little hole in the wall diner. It was great food. And then we drove up the western Wisconsin side along the St. Croix River and went to some, I think it was Oneida or something like that. Saw one there. Oh, Osceola maybe? I don't know. Whatever the name of the town was. And then there was one just north of Hudson that at the river. So here on those, so I'm gonna make little videos for those. I'm gonna put those on my other channel, Marty's Big Journey. That is in the links in the description down in the bottom. Other places to find me. If you go into my link tree, my Marty's Big Journey channel, that's where I put videos and all this stuff. So if you're interested, you can check that out. Oh, and if DI Freighter watches around, I know it's not a freighter, but I did just put a video up of us on a cruise, one of those Viking river cruise boats, when we were going from Budapest to Vienna. There was just a little trip there. I'm starting. Okay, so on the Marty's Big Journey channel, I told you I have so much footage, probably 5-6 years of footage that I've taken that I just haven't posted. I'm just starting to make little short videos on that channel. So if you're allowed to see a lot of little cool short videos of either little things we've seen, quirky museums, that's a big one that we do a lot. We'll go to a quirky museum. We went to the Surfing Museum in San Diego. We went to the Greyhound Bus Museum in Hibbing, Minnesota. We went to the Museum of Death when we were in New Orleans. I'm going to start posting stuff about all these little weird museums that we go to too. So anyway, that's on the Marty Big Journey channel. I hope you get a chance to enjoy that. Let's get into today though, because I got a lot of news to get to. But first, I got to say hi to everybody. Thank you, Gunfox, by the way. Gunfox is on a tear, dropping 3 Hamiltons and 3 articles. We'll start with those when we get to articles. But let me say hi to you guys first, because that's what I do. First in the chat over on Rumble. It's Avocados Diablo who gets the bell. So unusual. So weird to see you up there first. I just can't imagine you being the first one here. Avocados Diablo. It's amazing. Also, good morning, Mike Savage. Blarg. Simon Wolfwood and TC are also over on Rumble. And amongst other people who have windows open or watching over there, I appreciate you if you're on Rumble. If you're new to this channel or you just happen upon this and you see me say this phrase, if you're watching this show on replay on Rumble in particular, please just put a comment in the comment section. Even if you don't watch this whole thing, put a comment in the comment section so I know you were here and how you found it. Did Rumble have it listed somewhere that you just happened to run into it? How did you find this video? Because hundreds of people are watching this whatever I do here, and I don't know where they came from or how they got there or whatnot. So hopefully you've also decided to subscribe or whatever you call it, follow on Rumble. That'd be fantastic too. On YouTube, first in the chat was Gunfox61. What? How'd that happen? You got beat, AD. That's awesome. It's a rarity, but thank you, Gunfox61. Also, Gunfox is the administrator of the Dawg Knight Discord server. I appreciate that. That information, how to get on that, pops up during the show with the Streamlabs, whatever, Cloud Bot or whatever it is. Also, good morning, Avocados Diablo, who I already said hi, Mike Savage blog. My favorite Canadian, my favorite Canadian, Jaeger Ponies in the house. Good morning, sir. Good morning also to Dr. Funkenstein, a.k.a. Tire. Good morning, Don Julio Golf. I'm starting to sound like either Porky Pig or Joe Biden. I can't figure it out. Don Julio, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man's in the house. Also, good morning to Chicago Mike. Hi, how you doing? Simon Wolfwood, Attack Alpaca. Maddie's in the house. Also, good morning to Aaron Meredith. Those Ain't Real Dude is here. Good morning. Good morning, HP Lovecraft. AWOL's in the house. Nice to see you again. TC's over on YouTube. Renee Mayette, what's up? Rotten Corpse, Keenan, Lord Stanhope, Richo, my friend from Down Under, and I'm scrolling back just to see who I missed because it's kind of jumped on me there. Is that everybody so far? Yeah, that looks like it. All right, thanks y'all for being here. I appreciate seeing you in the chat and supporting the channel like you always do. Make sure you hit the like button, share the stream right now would be great. It helps anytime you do it before the show, do it during the show, do it after the show, whenever you can. Oh, Blake's in the house, aka Gulf City DCC 182. Nice to see you. So let's get into some news. Now, I'm going to start with the stuff that Gunfox said. Wait, hold on. I do have a few things I want to get to first. Just a couple things that are happening. Like I noticed right now, things people are tweeting about. Oh, this is interesting. Apparently Donald Trump's lost some weight. This can't be. Is this an old picture of him? Oops, wait, I don't do that. I want to, oh, here we go. Wait, this one. And did I do that right? Sorry, guys. Oh, people are mad at J.K. Rowling again. That's not unusual. Okay, so first, let's start with just a few things that people have put out. Now, some people are, apparently people on the left, are concerned about this tweet. They think it's fake. And I don't know when this is from, but it looks like, is it just me? I mean, this looks like a pretty Donald Trump looking kind of svelte. Now, I don't know if that's just an optical illusion or whatever, but they're saying it's fake. People think it's AI edited or otherwise fake. So weird with all these heroic edits of him. Imagine if people did this for Hillary, Joe, or Bernie. You mean try to make Joe look good? What do you think they do constantly? So this is it's an AP photo. Interesting. There it is. There's him walking from his plane. And so it looks like he's lost a little weight. Whatever. I don't think it really matters, but you know, when you have hate in your heart for the man so much, you'll pick apart just about anything that happens. All right, moving on. People are mad at J.K. Rowling again because she wrote this tweet. She wrote, "There is zero evidence that trans-identified males don't retain male patterns of criminality. There are proportionally more trans-identified males in jail in the UK for sex offenses than among male prisoners as a whole." Whatever. So they're mad that she called them trans-identified males. See, so again, there's this whole thing about people saying that sex and gender are different things, except when you point out the difference between the sex and gender by their definitions, they get mad. So by her calling a trans-identified male, referring to their sex and not their gender, they get very angry because they want you to call them women, trans women, but they're still male. So I don't get it. I have a video I'm going to make about that sometime soon if I ever get around to making videos again. So anyway, they're very upset that she called someone a trans-identified male. Their effing is to J.K. Rowling, we are not trans women anymore. We are trans-identified male. The mask is completely gone and in the effing bin. Well, neither are inaccurate, okay? You can either be calling yourselves a trans woman, which is a made-up term in itself, or you can be a trans-identified male, and it's still the same thing. You're a male sexual human who is trans-identified, because that's kind of how it is. So, but they're upset, and I get it. They want to be defined by how they want to define themselves, and sometimes some of us just don't want to play along. So, and it's not, especially when they're very unkind people. Moving on. Also, CNN has brought back that idea that maybe if you use a GIF or a GIF, however you pronounce it, of a meme of a black person and you're white, that you might be doing digital blackface, which is the funniest thing I ever heard. It's just stupid. So this CNN tweeted this today. If you're white and you posted a GIF or GIF meme of a black person to express a strong emotion, you may be guilty of wearing digital blackface, writes John Blake. You know what? In the immortal words of Jimmy Stewart, fuck off. Come on. Anyway, so that's a thing. So anyway, I did link a poll here. Now it's a internet Twitter poll, so it's not going to be all that accurate. But Wilford X Riley, Californian, said, "Is digital blackface a thing people should worry about?" So if you want to vote in that poll, there's 23 hours left in it. There's 406 votes so far. I'm going to vote right now. Oh, gee, 97% no. Shocker. Okay, moving on. Let's see. And then what's the other one? Oh, this is Walter Hudson, who's a state representative in the state of Minnesota, who I really appreciate for his well thought out thoughts when he talks in the legislature about certain things. And there's a big push in the Minnesota legislature to make this a extra super secret, double secret, extra not secret trans friendly state, including kids, which is the problem that most people have with it. If adults want to do weird things to their bodies and think that'll help them in the long run, that's great. But the experiments they're doing on kids right now is probably eventually going to go the way of lobotomies when they figure out that this stuff is not good. And they're starting to figure that out in some countries. But anyway, he highlighted this. It looks like a recruiting event at an elementary school. I'm sure the doctor and children's hospital don't have any financial interest in finding and creating gender confusion in 8-year-olds. So this is a Minnesota Public Schools Gender Resource Fair. This is really wild. April 13th. I might have to go to this. We're hosting a gathering for families and their gender creative young ones. Gender creative young ones. Wow. That's a new way to put it. Join us for community resources, entertainment, food, games, and more at Loring Elementary School. Welcome guest speaker Dr. Angela for adults. Drag story hour for kids. Oh, outstanding. Let's have a drag story hour for kids and then dinner and games. And a guest speaker Dr. Angela Kate Angela Cade Copeland, medical director of Children's Minnesota Gender Health Programs. So, yippee. I'm so excited that, there we go. Oh boy. So, all right. Shall we get into the news that really is important? We're going to, like I said, this whole day is going to be kind of a lightning round, but I am going to, Gun Fox has sent me a couple articles because, he likes to mess with my brain. Now, the first is just news from, this is from yesterday, and this is, apparently there was an explosion at a chocolate factory in Reading, Pennsylvania. This is actual news. I mean, 2 more victims found dead following a chocolate factory explosion. 7 people killed. Holy crap. In total, the explosion has claimed the lives of 7 people. Their names have not been released at this time. So this is in West Reading, Pennsylvania. Officials say 2 more people have been found dead following a devastating explosion at the R.M. Palmer Company in Reading, West Reading, Pennsylvania. 2 victims are believed to be the 2 people who were previously unaccounted for, officials said during a briefing Sunday night. In total, the explosion has claimed the lives of 7 people. Their names have not been released at this time. So now it's wild because there are video of the explosion. Apparently a either CCTV camera or something. I was looking at the building. They have video of the explosion. Oh no, William Walker's Chocolate Factory. No, this is not that. But anyway, by the way, good morning, Che Pylon. I see you there, bro. And Jimmy Dassotep. That could be for both of you. Hi, Jimmy D. The incident happened at approximately 5 p.m. Friday evening. Witnesses reported hearing an explosion coming from a candy factory, then saw flames shortly after. Kirsten Wisniewski lives 3 blocks from the local and well-known chocolate company. It was the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life. Literally felt like the ground fell from underneath you. The whole house shook and my dogs froze. Okay, so anyway, this is there's a little photo there. You can see this is where the explosion happened. I don't know. Oh, here's the video. Let's see if they show I remember seeing this video. Is this it?
Helping out of Berks County more than 24 hours after a deadly explosion leveled a well-known chocolate factory. This morning, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro toured the site of what was the R.M. Palmer Company in West Reading. Authorities reporting 2 fatalities with 5 people still unaccounted for. Recovery efforts continue at this hour. Action News has team coverage of the devastation.
Oh my God!
Reporter Becca Henriksen spoke with worried neighbors. But we begin with Brianna Gallagher, who has the latest from the scene.
My.
Yeah, Walter, crews have been working tirelessly through the night and into today, even finding 1 person alive. You can see some progress is being made here. However, there is still a long road ahead.
I wonder how many people are in there. That's what I'm curious.
During the overnight recovery efforts, 1 person was located alive, and rescue workers continue to search for any other possible survivors. The discovery of life overnight of the overnight recovery efforts provides hope that others still may be found.
Authorities say 2 people are dead and 5 others are still unaccounted for after an explosion and 4-alarm fire at R.M. Palmer, a chocolate factory in West Reading. Officials say 1 person was found alive and pulled from the rubble overnight.
They are beginning to move debris and move it. They're doing it methodically. Obviously, they want to be as careful as they can, and they are utilizing canines.
Okay, I'll leave it there. You can watch the rest of the report, but man, that's wild. Prayers for their families and shit. My God. Save the Children removed from searches on Instagram this morning because of Holly Holm. What, Holly Holm? Who is Holly Holm? Hold on. I see that, Jimmy. Let me see this real quick. Then I'll get back to, okay, I'll go there next. Holly Holm. Let me see if I, Holm. Save the Children. Who is this? Oh, wait. UFC fighter Holly Holmes calls for the end of the sexualization of children. From yesterday. Here, let's check this out. Maybe. Maybe. It says it's going to play. Oh, I had to take that music off. Hang on, hold on. Okay, that's a sports update. So anyway, here's the Fox News article. Holly Holm called for the end of the sexualization of children Saturday after defeating Yana Santos via unanimous decision. It was Holm's first win since 2020, and she expressed something that she'd said had been on her heart. Oh, here we go. Here's the...
Something that's been on my heart, and I feel like I have the platform to say it. I need to say it. I just feel it's really sad, all the sexualization of our children right now, and we need to protect them, whatever that may be. Like, protect the children, please. Do anything we can to help.
Interesting. So she said Save the Children was removed from searches on Instagram this morning. Why would they change that? So she said, there's a lot of things I don't ever want to be. I'm not even a real political person, Holmes added. I don't like to put that stuff around on any of my social media, but there's also just right and wrong. I feel like everybody should be on the same side on that. I don't feel like that has anything to do with left side or right side or anything like that. I feel like everybody should be wanting to protect their children. There's a lot of child trafficking. I mean, that's like the extreme part. There's lots of levels of it. You see it almost being more accepted, and I think that's really sad. I feel like we should, here's more. Here, is this her?
Used your post-fight speech to use a platform, I believe, to
let her say it herself.
Sort of
Let's hear
speak
her
out
words.
against the sexualization of children. I'm curious if you wanted to use your platform again now to sort of go into further detail.
There's a lot of things. I don't ever want to be, I'm not like a real political person. I don't like to put that stuff on any of my social media or.
No, I know. Yeah, I know who she is, Jimmy.
But there's also just right and wrong, and I feel like everybody should be on the same side on that. I don't feel like that has anything to do with left side, right side, or anything like that. I feel like everybody should be wanting to protect our children.
Oh no, we must have drag queen story hours.
There's stuff
that's not sexualizing anything.
A lot of child trafficking, and I mean that's like the extreme part, but there's a lot of levels to it. You just see it almost being more accepted, and I think that's really sad.
Good for her for
speaking up. I just feel like we should all do what we can. I know it's like a lot of people don't even know what to do, but if I can at least have a voice on it, then that's something I can speak out on it. And it's just to get everybody together to protect children. It's childhood really affects people in their long-term life too. I mean, I have friends that are adults, and their biggest thing that kind of is this shadow.
I'm glad you have adult friends.
That
That's
dark
good.
Space in them is being sexualized when they were young, and I just feel like it's almost getting.
It's getting accepted. That's the problem. She's good. She's 100% right. So good on her for doing that. Let's see. Let me just check real quick here. Yeah, that's shit's insane. I got to be honest with you. It's just really, it's disheartening. Here, Jimmy. I think Jimmy, you sent me the article too. It looks like. Let me pull this up. God, my computer's really screwed up today. Oh, no, that's from, there we go. Oh, you can't search the hashtag on Instagram. So apparently you cannot search the hashtag Save the Children now because she said that. That's amazing. That is amazing. Anyway, real quick, thank you. Oh, by the way, Gunfox, I never even said it. Gunfox, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. I can't even believe I didn't do that. Thank you, Gunfox. I appreciate it. Dropping a 30 bomb so far. That's awesome. So, but also on Streamlabs, thank you, Black Hebrew Israel, for sponsoring the show. Also, with dropping a deuce in the tip jar, which I have no problem cleaning up, who says, is Willy Wonka the main suspect for the fire or the Oompa Loompas? That's a good question. Sorry, too soon. Yes, that was a little too soon, but that's okay. It was funny, dude. It's all good, brother. Here, while I'm taking a pause on news stuff, let's thank a few people here. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, TC. Let's see. Somnambule Nation, Maddie, all the people tweeting out the show. Please, again, share the stream. I don't know if a lot of people share it on Twitter, but if you do that kind of stuff on Facebook or other platforms, I really appreciate it. I'd love to grow the channel. So, and then thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, dropping a big bullet in the tip jar. Appreciate it. Says if you try and search the hashtag Save the Children on Instagram, it doesn't show up. Sent you a DM. Hopefully you're swell today. I am swell today, and I'm refreshed. I'm a little sore because this little hike we had to take to get one of these waterfalls when we went to what was it, Willow River State Park in just north of Hudson, Wisconsin. There's still snow on all the trails, so we're taking this trail, and it's already supposedly they have like hard trails, strenuous, whatever. This was like a medium level trail, but it's all snow, and you're like going on this little trail along the ridges. You're going up and down, and it was almost a mile to get to the waterfall. So we're like, slipping and sliding in the snow. We have our dog with us, and lady was having sliding down hills, like just shoe skiing and shit. It was fun, but it was but I'm a little worn out from the weekend, and the dog slept like a log last night. It was crazy. He never woke up. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate it, Jimmy. I am refreshed and ready to go. All right. Also, good morning, Rod Line. I see you in the chat. Welcome, sir. Nice to have you. So, let's see. Where was I? We were on this one. Let's go on. This is another one that Gunfox sent me. So, remember last week we were talking about Credit Suisse, right? They were having a lot of problems, and they got bought by UBS. Well, apparently Silicon Valley Bank now has a buyer. And I think here's what I think is happening. The banking sector, everyone's a little nervous about the banking sector, right? So even though some of these banks that are failing probably are not great investments, some of the other banks are buying them just to bolster the sector. And so Silicon Valley Bank has been bought by a rival. The assets and loans of collapsed U.S. lender Silicon Valley Bank are being bought by First Citizen Bank shares. The failure of SVB earlier this month triggered fears about the stability of other lenders, sparking sharp falls in bank shares around the world. In Europe, worries over the strength of Swiss banking giant Credit Suisse led to a rushed takeover by rival UBS. Markets have remained nervous, although bank shares opened higher on Monday. Shares in Germany's Deutsche Bank fell by 14% at one point on Friday before recovering some ground. As trading began on Monday, they rose by about 3%. So SVB was seized by U.S. regulators earlier this month. And after a run of the bank and its collapse was swiftly followed by the failure of another U.S. bank, Signature Bank, which happens to have a board member named Barney Frank, one of the architects of the so-called Dodd-Frank bill that was supposed to make banks better, and he is on the board of a bank that failed. How ironic. Isn't it ironic? Mm-hmm. Don't you think? Anyway, all right. Let's move on, because Gunfox also sent me this. I'm going to say, is this fresh hell? Oh, no, Cuba. It's about Cuba. Cuba holds a stacked election amid the biggest population exodus since the revolution. Interesting. So Cuba is holding election Sunday to pick lawmakers at a time when the ruling Communist Party is struggling to keep a lid on public anger caused by rampant inflation, hunger, and blackouts. So let's see. The vote decried as a sham by human rights groups will pick 470 candidates who were pre-selected by the government to give the powerful national parliament for a 5-year term. The system has allowed the Communist Party to control the parliament since its inception in 1976. Given the party's tight grip on the island, the only way to gauge anti-government feeling is through the number who annul their votes or refuse to participate, said Juan Antonio Blanco, a political analyst and founder of the Cuba Siglo 21, a Florida-based think tank. So anyway, they're going to have a sham election to keep the Communist Party in power, and if you want to know more about that, there you go. But, we know a little bit about sham elections. Excuse me. I didn't say that out loud, did I? All right, next. Let's go. Like I said, it's lightning round today, so we're going to go through a lot of these fast. Apparently, Donald Trump has deleted a post on Truth Social. Apparently, he put a post on Truth Social picturing him with a baseball bat and now Alvin Bragg, and it just probably maybe the optics weren't right there, and so Drudge decided to say it was a threat to Alvin Bragg. The Judge Report Matt Drudge's right-leaning news aggregator ran a headline on Friday declaring former President Donald Trump threatened Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg in a Truth Social post on Thursday night, which Trump deleted on Friday afternoon. So this is Drudge. Drudge has gone to hell, by the way. Psycho Don threatens Manhattan District Attorney. Now, so what's happening now? And again, I don't know if it was a threat or just, I don't know what it meant. But anyway, Drudge's headline post read, Psycho Don threatens Manhattan District Attorney. Read the story, the second line of the headline. Oh, by the way, they're still on Donald arrest watch. And I just couldn't name this stream that anymore. I did it for an entire week, and I just couldn't do it. But notably, Drudge's headline appeared to take framing of Trump's post an explicit threat a bit further than either the Times or the Post, a topic of debate among pundits and observers online. Trump has been on a tear attacking Bragg in recent days and has been slammed as, of course, a racist for calling him a Soros-backed animal. Well, they didn't throw out racist, anti-Semitic, and everything else at him, because anytime you mention he who shall not be named, it seems to immediately be anti-Semitic. Anyway, additionally, Trump shared a split screen image of him holding a bat on one side and an image of Bragg's head on the right. Right of center news aggregator The Drudge report. Right of center. The Drudge is full-on establishment now. Ran a headline on Friday regarding the image that reads, Psycho Don threatens Manhattan's district attorney. CNN. This is CNN. Legal analyst Norm Eisen weighed in, sharing a screenshot of Trump's tweet. And then he wrote, well, threatening a prosecutor is a crime in New York. In fact, multiple crimes. So they're going to run with this now. They're going to say it was a threat to Alvin Bragg. They're going to run with it. Harassment in the first degree, menacing on the second degree, stacking in the fourth and third degree, something, NYPL, whatever. And that's just for starters. So holy crap. Anyway, Trump has been escalating his attacks on Bragg in recent days and has been slammed as racist. Okay, we've already said that part. And Trump also posted a screen on Friday morning that many viewed as an incitement to violence. Many viewed? Do you like that? Well, that's specific. Can you name some of the many? Give me a couple examples of who these many are. But anyway, Trump had written on Truth Social, what kind of person could charge another person, in this case, the former president of the United States, who got more votes than any sitting president in history, the leading candidate by far for the Republican Party nomination, with a crime when it is known that by all that no crime has been committed, and also known that potential death and destruction in such a false charge could be catastrophic for our country. Why and who would do such a thing? Only a degenerate psychopath that truly hates the USA. Oh my God. He certainly has an interesting way with words. But anyway, so now many say that is an incitement to violence. I want to know specifically who the many are. Give me some examples. Give me some people who are saying, like, when you say many, that doesn't mean anything to me. Anyway, good morning, Next Gen Troll. Nice to see you. All right, let's move on. Again, it's a lightning round all day. Breitbart revelation. Oh, this apparently revelations of FBI informants shake the Proud Boys January 6th trial. Now, we've been talking a little bit about this, but this is a Breitbart article, so certainly they're right-wing nut jobs, right? Okay. Revelation of the sheer number of FBI informants involved in the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot have shaken a trial of members of the Proud Boys in Washington, D.C., as one FBI informant had infiltrated the defense team. Now, remember we talked about that they had literally an FBI informant infiltrated the defense team. Now, so that means, look, any real judge who found that out, that the Department of Justice and the FBI infiltrated the defense team of people who are currently on trial, That would be an immediate mistrial and maybe just dismissal with prejudice. That's what their lawyers should be going for. But this is Washington, D.C. politics, so don't hold your breath. Anyway, as Julie Kelly, who covered the January 6th trials extensively, reports, there are at least 10 now known to have been involved in the Proud Boys, informants from the FBI, more than twice than the 5 defendants on trial. Now, again, it's very interesting. So they had 10 informants from the FBI with the Proud Boys. And yet, somehow, they could not find a way to stop the insurrection? The supposed insurrection? How did that happen? How did they not stop this before it happened? Oh, you mean they had 10 informants and they allowed the insurrection to continue? What? Seriously? Now, one shocking revelation last week was one FBI informant, Jen Lowe, a member of Latinos for Trump, had been in close contact with the defendants and their legal team throughout the trial, potentially compromising their constitutional rights. That was an FBI informant. So, if the government had spied on discussions among defendants and their lawyers using an informant, that would violate the attorney-client privilege and the Sixth Amendment. This is getting thrown out at some point, even if they get convicted by a jury of in D.C., 90% Democrat. This is going to be appealed, and they're going to throw this shit out. It's unbelievable. One need not to engage in serious. The role of the confidential human source, or CHS, on January 6th has become a central focus on right-wing circles, where conspiracy theorists assert that January 6th was a trap to make supporters of the former president look bad. Well, in Byron York, Broken Clock, one need not engage in conspiracy theories to seek information about the role of informants in various criminal cases. Also, informants infiltrating defense teams raises serious justice issues, doesn't it? Even This is CNN reported over the past year, Texas woman Jen Lowe has been in touch with several Proud Boys now on trial for seditious conspiracy, talking with members of the far-right group, fuck me, and their defense counsel about the case and suggesting possible witnesses and attorneys who could help. All the while, Lowe was a paid FBI informant. That revelation threw a wrench in the ongoing trial this week in federal court in Washington, D.C., when defense counsel learned of her relationship with the government. The defense objected to the continuation of the trial until the prosecution told Judge Tim Kelly, an appointee of President Donald Trump, that Lowe had not informed them about the defense in the trial. Defense attorneys are scheduled to question Lowe on Monday, but questions are growing about the extent to which the FBI informants knew about the Capitol riot and may have encouraged the crowd during the riot. Oh, gee, really? I wonder if it's cute. Now it makes me wonder. Ooh, it makes me wonder. What's that Epps guy name? There's a guy named, his last name's Epps. I know he's there. Is there any chance he was one of those people? Oh, wait, they're not saying. They wouldn't say that definitively. Remember that I think it was Ted Cruz who was asking one of the people in the Justice Department, is Ray Epps an FBI informant? And she would not answer the question because she wouldn't answer. Instead of just saying definitively no. Oh, my God. Also, kind of on this note, so, and then there's also new footage of DC Metro cops encouraging people to go to the Capitol. I'm waiting for a whistleblower. We need a whistleblower from either the FBI or the embedded FBI or the cops that were encouraging people to go to the Capitol. Here's video. Let's see, I'll put a separate tweet of this. There's video of these DC cops encouraging people to go up to where they're going. So here it is. I think this is the short thing here. I don't know if you can tell or not.
Go, go. Let's go. Go. Help him up. Help him up. Help him up. Hold on, wait. Push him up. Push him up. Help me bend it.
Again,
come on, let's go.
These are DC police officers, the Metro Police, telling them to help them up on the scaffolding. Why? Why?
Come on, man, let's go. Leave that shit.
That might be someone else. Now I don't know what. Apparently the blue armband has to do with it. I don't know. So anyway, after climbing the scaffolding, the DC Metro cop continues to encourage people to move closer to the Capitol. Keep going. This is.
Come on, go, go, go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
I don't know if this is a cop that's embedded or what.
Keep going. Keep going. Come on. Jim. What's up, dude?
So anyway, I don't know where they got this footage, but anyway, the article states, and the full video was leaked on Rumble by an anonymous account named Overwatch J6. There's a link to it in the article. The Epic Times prosecutor admits DC police officers Prosecutor admits DC police officers acted as provocateurs at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. A federal prosecutor admitted in court papers that 3 DC Metro Police Department undercover officers acted as provocateurs at the northwest step of the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. The admission came in a March 24th filing before U.S. District Court Judge Rudolph Contreras that seeks to keep video footage shot by the officers under court seal. Of course, they don't want anyone to see that. Oh, that's my sense. Prosecutors accused the case defendant William Pope of Topeka, Kansas, of an illegitimate attempt to unmask the video as part of his alleged strategy to try the case in the news media. Pope filed it. Wait a minute. They've done nothing but try this case in the media using media and left-wing and Democrat propaganda, calling this nonsense an insurrection. It wasn't an insurrection. It was a riot at the Capitol. It was not an insurrection. They were not trying to overthrow the government of the United States of America. They had no plan to do that whatsoever. All they were trying to do was stop the current vote so that the courts could finish the court cases. But no, you motherfuckers call it an insurrection. And it wasn't. It's just nuts. Anyway, so prosecutors accused the case defendant, William Pope, of an illegitimate attempt to unmask the video as part of the alleged strategy to try the case in the news media. Pope filed a motion to remove the court seal on February 21st. Quote, the defendant is not entitled to undesignate these videos to share them with unlimited third parties, said Assistant U.S. Attorney Kelly Moran. His desire to try his case in the media rather than in a court of law is illegitimate, and the government has met its burden to show the necessity of the protective order. Why? Why? It's not in the Capitol. It's not in the Capitol. It's outside the Capitol. It is not in the Capitol. You know who said that. This is crazy. Anyway, so there you go. That's the update on January 6th. The videos are in this thread. Don't lose sight of the detail. The beloved thin blue line entrapping you knowingly, remorsefully. No one came forward regretting the deeds. And that ain't the only time they've done so. Look around. Plenty of proof. So I'm waiting for these. I want these cops. I want one of these cops to become a whistleblower to tell us why they were embedded in encouraging the people. Someone's going to break. And either that, or someone's going to get under oath, and then oh my gosh, is it going to all hell going to break loose? Welcome to XAG 007. Hi, how you doing? All right, moving on. Also, now let's move on to this Trump thing a little bit, because Dan Abrams, he's a former, he's an ABC News legal analyst. He also runs the Law and Crime Network. I think that's his baby. But he had an interesting take on the charges that Alvin Bragg wants to bring against Donald Trump. Listen to this.
To you, and Dan, let me start with you. As we just heard, all eyes are on the Manhattan DA this week, but the case seems to hinge on a legal theory that's never really been used in New York.
Really?
How risky is this?
Look, it's risky for a number of reasons. The
it's not going to work.
Theory is in getting it from the misdemeanor to the felony. They're kind of jerry-rigging it to some degree. And the reason
this is why
that's
and this is why there are snags in that case, and any judge who has a brain would throw it out, but nope, that's probably not going to happen because it's New York City. They want to get Donald Trump. But anyway,
novel and it's difficult. It hasn't been quite done exactly in this way before. But there's also another factor here.
What is that factor,
which is
Dan?
This isn't just a misdemeanor case that they're trying to get into a felony. It's also a 7-year-old case.
Ding.
It's also a case that 2 other sets of prosecutors, the previous DA and the federal prosecutors, decided not to move forward with. So, when people say to me sometimes, well, if this had been me, I would have been prosecuted.
No, you wouldn't have.
Sure.
Absolutely
My response
not.
is, if this had been you,
this would never go anywhere.
7 years later, they would have revisited this misdemeanor and tried to turn it into a felony. So it is a challenging legal theory. They may be able to do it, but there are problems here.
And
Dan Abrams is reliably left of center, person when he does news analysis. So even Dan Abrams is saying, this is awfully unusual. Let's just say it's a little unusual. Okay. So good for Dan Abrams for being real. What the hell? What? Come on, computer. Damn it. Pisses me off. There we go. All right. Next. And also, not just Dan Abrams, but wait, gird your loins. Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo on the Alvin Bragg prosecution of Trump also says, well, I think it's all politics. Donald Trump has found a surprising defender in the Alvin Bragg case. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is saying that the prosecution is all about politics. Bragg's case seems to be falling apart. He's backpedaling, and even Trump's legal team is downplaying the case. Even so, who saw Andrew Cuomo taking this position? Listen to this.
It's time for our officials to condemn anti-Semitism.
Wait. That's not it. What the hell's that?
The words, but with their actions.
Wait, what?
You can't denounce
What
anti-Semitism.
does this have to do with what does it have to do with this? Wait, trying to come back. What are your thoughts on this? Oh, that's a different clip. Anyway, here he goes. Former Democratic governor, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo criticized Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg over his focus on potentially prosecuting former President Donald Trump and suggested the move is politically motivated. I don't understand why Bragg is putting such an emphasis on this case, former governor told WABC Radio Friday night. A person breaks the law, I get it, but on the state side, this is a misdemeanor case. It's really a federal case because it needs to be a campaign finance fraud case, which is a federal case, and that's what Bragg is going to have to do to get a felony out of this. Cuomo said that the public is generally cynical, and whether they see prosecutors bringing these political cases, it just affirms everybody's cynicism. I think it's all politics, and that's what I think the people of this country are saying, Cuomo continued. It just feeds the anger and that cynicism and partisanship. It's a coincidence that Bragg goes after Trump and Tish James goes after Trump and Georgia goes after Trump. That's all a coincidence? I think it feeds the cynicism, and that's the cancer in our body politic right now. My God, who is this guy? I have no idea. Boy. Anyway, and then now he's suddenly speaking out against anti-Semitism. He's founding a group called Progressives for Israel. Is he really trying to stage a comeback? Of course he is. Of course he's trying to stage a comeback. All right, moving on. In more right-wing news from Breitbart. Apparently, the New York Times is going back to the Iran hostage crisis and trying to use it to smear Republicans and besmirch Ronald Reagan. It seems like a stretch, but here it is. Did you hear about the effort of the left to delegitimize the election of the Republican president? Oh, no, not Donald Trump. We all know about the endless effort to impugn the validity of the 2016 presidential election. This is about another lefty effort, this time to delegitimize the 1980 presidential election. Now remember, Ronald Reagan stomped Jimmy Carter in the 1980 election. But anyway, which saw Ronald Reagan defeat Democrat Jimmy Carter in a landslide. This effort, which has been bubbling along for, 43 years, got a big boost on March 18th when the New York Times ran a story headline, quote, "A 4-decade secret. One man's story of sabotaging Carter's reelection." Okay, I mean, we're talking like it was an embarrassing landslide election for Reagan. We can see the play in the left, the Democrats and the mainstream media. Many would say they're all the same. Yeah, that's redundant. Can convince people that Reagan cheated his way into the White House, then that puts the Reagan presidency and everything Reagan ever did under a cloud, which of course is exactly what they want. So they wrote this article in the New York Times, and since we're thinking about the 80s, our minds might go to the novel 1984, which George Orwell summed up Big Brother's guiding philosophy. Who controls the present controls the past. Who controls the past controls the future. The idea that if you can control the present, you can write the journalism and history in such a way that your enemies, Republicans, look bad. And if you've made Republicans look bad in the past, then the stain lingers. How can they be good today or in the future? By now, conservatives are hip to this sort of thinking, which goes by many names, including narrative control, framing, or simply put, propaganda. We know that the left will never give up on attacking anything that Republicans have ever done. And they have a sophisticated attack operation known as the mainstream media. So anyway, they run this news story. It's the late-in-life confession of Ben Barnes, born in 1938, former Democratic lieutenant governor of Texas, an active Democratic fundraiser ever since. Barnes recalls that in the summer of 1980, he took a trip with John Connally to the Middle East. Connally was the former Democratic governor of Texas, although in the 70s he switched parties. Connally served as the Secretary of Treasury to Republican Richard Nixon, and then in 1980 he launched a short-lived campaign for the GOP presidential nomination and withdrew from the race in March of that year. A few months later, he and Barnes took a trip to the Middle East, reportedly from July 18th to August 11th. Of course, 1980 was a pivotal year in the Middle East, as it was the year during which the Iranian Ayatollahs held 52 American hostages in Tehran. That hostage holding, of course, was huge international drama and proved to be very damaging to Jimmy Carter's presidency. Understandably, Carter wanted to get the hostages released, and yet they were not let go until just after he left office in January 1981. Reacting to the Times story, buzzy MSM outlet Axios stated, "If Carter had secured the release of the hostages, he might have won re-election, that is." Okay, now, I was just a lad in high school at the time. That was not by far Carter's only problem. Carter was a milquetoast, just terrible president, okay? Now, granted, the inflation from the 70s was happening during the entire 70s, but Carter exacerbated and basically wanted people to think, well, we just have to learn to live with this terrible shit, right? Which Reagan was Mr. Optimism, the shining, shining house on the hill guy, just total pro-American, whatever, and everybody liked Reagan. And so I don't know if here's the electoral map. That's the electoral map of 1980. They're going to try to say that Reagan would have done worse if Carter had gotten the hostages back. I'm sorry. Richard, yes, Carter was before Reagan. He was president from 1977 until Reagan was inaugurated in 1981. Anyway, So they're going to try to say that had the Iran hostage crisis gone differently, Carter would have been elected. Yeah, I don't think so. Here, I need one of these. No, I don't think so. But you can read the rest of the article. Talking about the New York Times article, it's kind of humorous. All right, I got to keep going because it's a lightning round. And then Matt Taibbi, who is a Democrat and somewhat, he's left-wing Democrat, but he's the guy who released the Twitter files, and he's really much all about free speech, and he seems to have a little problem with how Democrats have just decided to ditch the whole idea of free speech. And apparently he did an interview with Maria Bartiromo, LMNOP. Here.
Matt, how do you feel about all of this? Because I know before you started, discovering all of this really bad.
Full disclosure, I can't take her voice anymore. She's gotten shriller and shriller, and the more I listen to her, I remember when she was on This Is CNN, and I don't remember her have this grating of voice. But anyway.
Matt, how do you feel about all of this? Because I know before you started, discovering all of this really bad behavier, you identified as a Democrat, and now you've got all
identified?
of your
Wait a minute. You mean he's not? What do you mean he identified as a Democrat? Is that like? Did he get a one of those? Is he trans? Not Democrat? Is he non-binary now? I don't know. Hi, special can't and fake news expert, by the way.
Friends, quote unquote, in the media attacking you for exposing this.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I was raised a traditional ACLU liberal. I believed in free speech my whole life. That was one of the things that attracted me, frankly, to the Democratic Party when I was a kid, was the idea that we were the party that believed in letting everybody have a say, and we'll just make a better argument, and that's how this system works. But
you gotta
apparently something very dramatic has changed in politics in America, and there's been a shift. There's no question about it anymore, that now the parties have had a complete reversal on how they view these issues.
Amazing. All right, Matt.
It's easy to.
I'm sure you've seen some strong women. You're surprised.
It's easy to be. It's easy to be pro free speech when the majority of people agree with you, because the speech that's not. That you are going to allow is not going to defeat you. But right now, there's a lot of things that the Democrats and left say and do, which is no longer necessarily the majority view, or at least they know they're saying things that that if more people knew about what they were doing, they would not accept it. And especially with the thing with the kids. And they're starting to getting backlash, and even the free speech stuff, like Matt Taibbi, he's a lifelong Democrat. But when it comes to the Twitter stuff, where the government is compelling Twitter to either compel speech or suppress speech of people on a platform that the government should have no business in influencing, that's red flags. And there's a lot of people who are left, are Democrats, are, even a lot of people in the LGBTQ community, when it comes to the trans stuff, are like, wait a minute, have y'all lost your minds? Yeah, we can live our lives, but leave the kids alone. There's a lot of them. And so now the Democrats are like, well, no, you can't say that. The words "you can't say that" should never come out of the mouth of an American. You can't say that. Should never come out of the mouth of an American, because we enshrine that into our Constitution. It's the First Amendment for a reason. So, interesting that Matt's eyes are being opened up. A lot of Democrats' eyes are being opened up with this shit. All right, moving on. Federal regulators acknowledge danger to wildlife caused by offshore wind farms. This is new. Federal Fisheries Council acknowledges some power cables for offshore wind turbines could harm certain fish, according to a letter seen by the Daily Caller News Foundation. Multiple recent studies have demonstrated that a variety of commercially popular fish can be negatively impacted by their exposure to magnetic fields emitted by high-voltage digital current cables, which can confuse their ability to navigate, in some cases leave them exposed to predators. And then one of the other highlights, we are previously aware of this study and agreed that it is concerning. It has concerning implications for the possible effects of high-voltage direct current cabling on larval behavior and resulting predation rates, Thomas Nees, executive director of the New England Fishery Management Council, said in a January 18th letter. So, these offshore wind farms, it's been harming some whale populations apparently on the East Coast. So, the push to greening of the world may be harmful to some species. And, they used to care about harm to animals. Let's see how this develops. All right, moving on. Speaking of climate, Biden climate envoy John Kerry says the United States needs to work with China and Russia on climate change. Here, just to give you a clip, we have to now Lurch is who I'd like to refer to him as, and boy, by the way, he must have used Madonna's plastic surgery, because holy shit, is he looking like got that bubble face going on. But anyway, here's let's see if this is
obviously the single biggest emitter right now is China, and every expert that I've talked to says China is going to have to make bigger cuts than they've currently planned.
And they're not
for
going
the world to hit that target.
If we're going to meet our goal.
And they're not going to.
We have to work with China. We have to work with India. We even have to find a way, ultimately, if we can resolve the war in Ukraine, to work with Russia, because Russia is a huge emitter. And any one of these countries has an ability.
Weird they're not mentioning India. But anyway.
If it doesn't move to change its energy base, to make it much harder for the rest of the world, if not impossible, to reach the goals we've set. India, for instance, has a major goal.
I mentioned India.
They're really working at this. They understand that they've got to try to find a way to reduce coal, but they're also fighting this question of keeping their folks employed and being able to keep their economy moving. China has 1.4 billion people. They have the same feeling that, they can't suddenly unemploy their entire population and survive.
Well,
so,
China can just build shit randomly to keep people working, and it doesn't have to go anywhere. They've got roads and whole cities that they've built that have nobody living in them. So that's how they keep people working. I don't know. So that doesn't help either, right, John?
They're trying to mix it. Now, China is the largest deployer of solar panels. In China, they have deployed far more renewable energy than we have.
And they killed a lot more birds that way then, too.
So, yes, they're behind, and it's a problem. The coal is a problem. But that's why it's important. We work with China. We reach out to China. And that's what we're trying to do. And the president has tried very hard. Our president has tried hard to separate climate from the other issues that are real that we obviously have with China.
Oh, you mean like sending weapons to Ukraine and all that stuff? Anyway. Now, on another note, too, he also defends world leaders who fly private while pushing climate action. So I wanted to put these next to each other. This is the shot, how we need to work with China and Russia on climate change. But at the same time, he's defending world leaders who fly private jets while pushing climate change. In a conversation with Joe Biden's climate czar, John Kerry took off when it turned on the use of private flights, a sore topic for jet-setting world leaders pushing the fight against global warming. See, why can't these motherfuckers use Zoom calls? They make all us use Zoom calls during whatever. So here's this is a little it got a little hairy.
You recently switched, I read, from flying private to flying commercial.
Private while I was in this job.
Okay.
It's just a misnomer. I've had maybe two private flights, which were U.S. military flights in order to get to China during COVID, where we were forced into that. That's why commercially.
So he does fly commercially. But, all these like Davos and all these climate conferences, there are a lot of private jets showing up at those places. Kerry became the nation's first presidential envoy to climate at the start of the Biden administration, said he had maybe one or maybe two private flights, which were military flights, in order to get to China during COVID. We were forced into that, he insists. Wait, what's he say down here? Hold on, here we go. Here's the part where he defends.
Private aviation is an example of something where people are starting to pay more attention. And
Zoom calls.
When people who go to Davos to talk about climate change fly private, it seems like they don't want to make.
Well, they actually, I've talked to them about it. They offset. They buy offsets, they offset, and they are working harder than most people I know to be able to try to affect this transition.
They buy offsets. Oh, well, then that just makes it perfectly fine, John. If they pay money, they pay their alms, to the gods of climate change, then they can still fly their private jets and they can emit as much carbon as they want because they've paid a little extra money. See, so the rich get richer and the poor, they can just stay the fuck home, right? Hello, Green Badger Outdoors. Timing is everything. Let's see. Italy. Oh, and now on this green thing, you know how they're trying to get you to eat insects and whatever they want you to, they think insects are the future. Well, not so fast. See, apparently, I think the EU had here it is. Earlier this year, the European Union approved the use of partially defatted powder of Acheta domesticus, which is a house cricket, cricket flower, to the region's food market, essentially in the form of insect flour. Okay? Insect flour. Now, there's a little problem with this insect flour because, there are certain countries in certain countries in the EU who are known for using flour for certain things, and particularly Italy, who makes a lot of pasta. Italy has banned the EU-approved use of insect flour in pasta and pizza. See, pasta and pizza are very important to the traditions of Italy. So the EU Commission passed the application presented in 2019 by the Cricket One company. Now, food producers can use the powder in the production of several foods, including pizza, pasta-based products, nuts and oil seeds, snacks and sauces, meat preparation and soups, multigrain breads and rolls, crackers and breadsticks, cereal bars, blah, 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 blah. So the EU approved this cricket flour, right? Cricket flour. Well, not so fast. The rules will also force insect-based foods to be distinguished by labeling and segregation. Well, this was one regulation too much for Italy. The nation, known for its fabulous cuisine, has banned the use of insect powder in pizza and pasta. Oh my gosh. They'll probably do that in Greece too. Italy is saying no to the Great Reset agenda. Traditional foods like pasta and pizza will be banned from using insect flour. Other products with insects will have to be labeled and stored on separate shelves away from regular food. Give a hand to Italy. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Where am I? Right here. So apparently the Biden administration has pledged taxpayer cash to support climate activists. Yes, this is a great use of our money. U.S. aid effort also includes a call to address climate-related mental health conditions. You mean like, it's interesting they have a picture of Greta when they talk about climate-related mental health conditions. The Biden administration plans to use taxpayer funds to inspire and support young climate activists in developing countries, even as it acknowledges that young people suffer from climate-related mental health conditions. The Biden's U.S. Agency for International Development last year released its 2022 to 2030 climate strategy, which outlines a $150 billion whole-of-agency approach to building an equitable world run with net zero greenhouse gas emissions. Net zero, that ain't happening. I'm sorry. Someone's going to burn in a fireplace somewhere to keep warm, and that's net zero. Sorry. There's a blaze. There's a blaze in the house. Nice to see you. So anyway, included in that effort is a pledge to support behavior change and communications campaigns that encourage youths active participation in the climate movement. Young people, the agency says, have emerged in recent years as key actors in demanding government action to tackle the climate crisis, prompting USA to increase its funding for youth-led organizations working to fight climate change in at least 40 partner countries. So fan-fucking-tastic. They're going to send money to 40 fucking countries so we can have 1 million Greta Thunbergs. Jesus, I hate these people. All right, I got to move on because, again, it's lightning round. California judge stops Soros prosecutor from slashing triple murderer's sentence. A California judge this week blocked the newly elected progressive prosecutor's effort to slash a triple murderer's sentence. Alameda County District Judge Mark McCannon rejected District Attorney Pamela Price's plea deal for a 31-year-old man jailed for a 2008 triple murder for hire. Among other crimes, Price, who took office in November, has taken hundreds of thousands of dollars from the progressive billionaire, he who shall not be named, and attempted to sentence Delonzo Longwood to just 15 years in prison for a triple murder. He was eligible for a sentence of 75 years to life. Quote, as I stated previously, even though these crimes occurred almost 15 years ago, our mission in the here and now is to stop the violence in our community, Price said in a statement after the judge's decision. We appreciate Mr. Longwood's commitment to efforts to stop the violence and everyone's cooperation in the quest to protect public safety. McCannon's decision deals a blow to California's billionaire-funded progressive overhaul of the criminal justice system. San Francisco voters last year outed progressive district attorney Chesa Boudin because of his soft on crime policies. So Longwood has also been charged with, so this guy, he was also charged with carjacking and robbery, but he murdered 3 people. Oh my gosh, why? And then, Price has got... Okay, so when they say Price took $130,000 from Soros for a 2018 bid, there's a pretty intricate money laundering thing they do. So for Soros gives to his Open Society, which gives to another group, which gives to another group, which actually directly funds some of these campaigns for some of these district attorneys, trying to, make it so you can't tell that it's, just more of Soros's money. Excuse me, he who shall not be named's money. So anyway, good. I'm glad the judge saw through this and decided that maybe you shouldn't reduce the sentence of a triple murderer. And there was apparently a GOP parental rights bill that passed the House of Representatives. It's not going anywhere in the Senate and will not be signed by Joe Biden, but they did pass this parental rights bill in the House of Representatives, and the Democrats and the media, I know, redundant, have lost it. completely upset. So someone I wanted to hear was this person celebrating 2013 to 2008 House, largely along party lines, passed a bill to increase parental oversight of K through 12 schools. It's one of the top legislative priorities for the House GOP for the 118th Congress. Parents' Bill of Rights now heads to the Senate, where Schumer has said it will not see the light of day. I wonder how popular that will be for Chuck, the smarmy prick from New York, blocking this. But anyway, so here we'll get some of the meltdowns here. The bill passed we already got that. 213 to 208, with 5 Republicans joining all the Democrats to vote against the measure. Wait a minute. Oh, interesting. Okay, wait a minute. H.R. 5 passed 213-208 with 5 Republicans, Andy Biggs, Ken Buck, Matt Gaetz, Mike Lawler, and Mike Rosenhill joining all Democrats to vote against it. Their reasons, which mostly revolved around believing the federal government shouldn't be involved in state and local education matters, which I agree. The federal government shouldn't be involved in local education matters. And in fact, I think we should disband the Department of Education. But it's there. But anyway. So As for Democrats, their reason had everything to do with being woke and nothing to do with caring about children or the rights of their parents to have a voice in their child's education. So here's Hakeem Jeffries.
Legislation brought to us by the extreme MAGA Republicans.
Extreme MAGA Republicans.
That will put politics over parents. This legislation
No. It puts parents in charge. Why would it put politics over parents? What does that mean?
To do with parental involvement, parental engagement.
It does.
Parental empowerment. It has everything to do with jamming the extreme MAGA Republican ideology down the throats of the children and the parents of the United States of America.
Really? And then there was, did he still do this?
Extreme MAGA
Republicans. This is where he lied and said that they don't want, the extreme MAGA Republicans don't want you to know about, listen.
Don't want the children of America to learn about the Holocaust.
Oh, really? You smarmy prick. But not to be outdone, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
To say and talk about government reach and freedom. This is a bill, this Republican bill is asking the government to force the outing of LGBT people before they are ready. And talking about the rights of parents in this gallery today, the National Parents Union is here saying don't do this. I have a letter that I'd like to submit.
National Parents Union. I wonder what they are politically.
The Republican Party to keep culture wars out of classrooms. Our children need urgent and aggressive educational solutions. The American Library Association coming out against this Republican.
Oh yes, the American Library Association. That's another group that they're just like. Well, you might as well just put them with the teachers union, basically.
In proposal. When we talk about progressive values, I can say what my progressive value is, and that is freedom over fascism.
Yeah, she doesn't know what fascism is. And then we have Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I think there's a couple more in here, but we'll just do one more and then we'll move on. Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
But this legislation just hands a vocal and extreme minority of parents the power to dictate what.
Wait. So only certain parents can voice their opinions, or can all parents voice their opinions? Even the progressive parents. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's see what she says here.
Child learns.
Oh, anyway. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a parent deciding a certain book is not right for her child. There's a colossal problem with a parent deciding that, therefore, no child should be allowed to read that book. No. The problem is they're trying to get the books with porn out of the schools. They're not even trying to ban the books. If you want to go to your public library and check out a porn book for your kid, you're more than welcome to. But the idea that they're just going to have them in the school library, where you generally don't get an idea what your kid is checking out, I think maybe they should take the porn out of the school libraries. I'm just saying, there's absolutely porn in school libraries, because some of these, for some reason, the writers of LGBTQIA plus LMNOP books, for some reason, might think it's important to put porn in some of their books. And I think maybe they shouldn't be doing that. It's just me? I don't know. Who's this guy? 26-year-old Representative Maxwell Frost. Oh, wait, one more.
This bill is modeled after one that I know very well.
What is that?
Florida's parental rights in the education law. Most of us know it as Don't Say Gay.
No, because you've made that up. That's not what it's about. But anyway.
And Don't Say Gay infringes on parents' rights,
including
LGBTQ plus and supportive parents.
No, it doesn't.
Bills like this make schools more hostile, and make no mistake, it results in hate, bigotry.
Yeah, hate from Democrats, because they hate to be held accountable for their bullshit.
Yes, sometimes death of our students in schools.
Oh, really? Give me one sample of an example, including death. You're going to kill people. Really? Do you really mean that? Oh my. Anyway, that's good. Moving on. New Mexico School Boards Association administrator says parents have no rights in public education. Now, this is again, that bill, by the way, in Congress, that's not going anywhere, because Chuck Schumer's not going to take it up. Joe Biden would never sign it. But anyway, in New Mexico, though, this person says he's a school board association administrator who says parents have no rights in public education. When you decide to send your kid to public school, let me see, just here. How long is this clip? Oh, it's 9 minutes long. Let me just give you the rundown here. A New Mexico School Board Association instructor sees no role for parents in guiding their children's public school education. Really? Then are you going to ban PTA meetings and parent-teacher conferences then? When you say no role, what do you mean? On Tuesday, the parental rights group Freedom Families United published an audio tape of a New Mexican school board administrator speaking to members of the local school boards. Quote, parents do not have a fundamental right to tell you how public school teaches their child. What's the point of parent-teachers conferences then? What's the point? New Mexico School Boards Association trainer Andrew Sanchez said in December, parents' rights end when you decide to send your kids to public school. What you teach this generation that will soon be voting are going to be instrumental to the future of us as a democracy as a society goes forward. And so the New Mexico School Board Association did not respond to the federalist request for comment. Sanchez also mocked parents concerned about excessive wokeness in classrooms and claimed teachers in Florida don't even teach the Civil War anymore. Well, he's a fucking moron because they certainly do. In fact, they teach about slavery. They teach about all kinds of things that are Black history in America. You'd be shocked, you moron. So anyway, quick examination of Florida K-12 centers, however, shows educators are required to teach their students about the Civil War and Reconstruction. But he says teachers in New Mexico will talk about Black Lives Matter. They have to. If your school boards engage in policy which are going to actually create parental rights where none should or don't exist, or your school boards are going to create opt-out policies so that parents, can opt out of certain ideas in the curriculum, there will be nothing to teach the kids. Really? Really? You can't teach them how to think without telling them what to think? You can't teach them math and how to read and how to write and science? There will be nothing to teach? What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, you can read the rest of that article because I got to keep moving here. I'm home. I'm almost out of time. I'm only halfway through this. All right, we'll see where we get. Apparently, this woman was speaking out at a school board meeting in Minnesota, and this is a base mom right here.
My name is Kafi Monska. I'm an attorney, wife, and mom to 3 boys, 2 of which are in high school. This bill requires that...
Oh, this is, here.
...studies starting in kindergarten, and I'm against this. You might ask, why in the world would a Black person speak against ethnic studies? Because not everything that sounds good is good. The definition of ethnic studies right there in the statute says that there's a connection between a person's race and their stratification. The bill tells kids of color that they are stuck in a caste system based on their race. It also tells kids, and I quote, that institutions chronically favor white people and disadvantage people of color. I'm sick of everyone denying the enormous progress we've made in this country, acting like it's 1930. We used to have a race-based system. We got rid of it, and now you're all trying to bring it back. This curriculum will not help kids of color succeed. All it does is remove any reason to try. And I repeat that, it removes any reason to try. And this is not some theoretical crap. This stuff happens. These messages are very harmful. Just last month in my high schoolers band class, the teacher took 20 minutes at the beginning of class to talk about anti-racism. He told the kids to look around.
During band.
And then he said the Black boys in the school would likely not live to retirement because of racism and the police. Another furious kid of color recorded this conversation. And so I was able to hear it for myself with my own ears. If this law is passed, teaching this hopelessness to kids of color will be mandated starting in kindergarten. And I can see why you white proponents of this bill might support it. It's not your kids being told that they can't succeed, and you get to shed some of your white guilt in the process.
Oh, damn!
Legislators of color,
damn!
You made it despite the invisible boogeyman of systematic combat racism. You were voted in by a majority of white people. You hold some of the most powerful positions in this state.
There are saviors.
That they can't succeed.
There are saviors.
It's terrible. I ask that you please vote against this bill.
Yes! Give that. Damn! Pew, pew, pew. Pew, 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 pew. Pew. Good for her. I see if I can get an interview with her. Go, girl. New York parents set to sick the law on school board that insists on porn in school. Uh-oh. There's trouble in paradise, in left-wing paradise. The school board wars are turning up in the temperature on porn-pushing administrators. In Fairpoint, New York, a group of parents has grown tired of asking for the school board to remove explicit books and materials from their schools after months of asking nicely. Speaking to the board, writing letters and other efforts, Fairport Education Alliance has filed a claim against the board's insurance bond. This type of claim has been tried with forced masking in other parts of the country, but has been unsuccessful. However, parents in Fairpoint say the major difference between those complaints and this one is that the school district is breaking federal and state laws, which are tied directly to the complaint. This was the major flaw in trying to file insurance claims against the school for masking, as there were no laws on the books preventing them from imposing masks. However, there are multiple laws against endangering children and distributing child pornography. Going through the usual channels to remove the material hasn't worked, as radical school board members simply refuse to remove pornographic and obscene materials despite months of petitioning. But filing a claim against the insurance bond could have expensive consequences if the insurance company investigation finds that the board has violated its oath of office and put the insurance company at risk. Fairport Education Alliance believes this action will be successful because it is tied to several violations of state and federal law regarding the protection of children from obscenity and harm. So see, you just got to find the right tactic. They're asking for $100,000 in damages and whatever. They're good. It's unbelievable. I don't even understand, even leftists, liberals, progressives, how they believe that having some of this stuff in school is good, but they're so tied to being allies that they don't even understand that a lot of the LGBT community agrees that some of this shit should not be in schools. It's unbelievable, but they, in the attempt to be allies. All right, now I am so not even close to being through everything here, so let's just do this. It's headline time. We're going to just show you what's left in the articles. All these links were going to be in the second paragraph at the end of the show. I'll update the one tab link if you want to check out any of these articles. Single click, and you'll have one page with every single, here, let me fix this, with every single link to all the stories we've already done and the ones I haven't gotten to. So let's go through some of the headlines here. We'll go back to here real quick. In the legal insurrection, diversity, equity, and inclusion deans at MIT refused to participate in a debate about diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. It's unbelievable. They do. You know what? They don't want to talk about it. They're right, and they don't have to debate. They don't have to discuss whether their policies are just the perfect thing and the greatest thing since sliced bread. In the Daily Caller, state legislation could strip Catholic churches the right to protect members' sealed confessions. Now, this one is probably one that is going to go deep into the courts, probably all the way to the Supreme Court. Two bills in Delaware and Vermont were looking to remove the religious right of Catholic priests to withhold information given to them during confession to protect children from abuse. But Catholic advocates argued that these bills would only harm the church. Lawmakers have argued that mandatory reporting must extend to everyone, including Catholic Church, to fully protect children from abuse and neglect. And then there's a line here: I haven't seen evidence that the seal of confession has impeded the prosecution of domestic abuse or child abuse. And as a mother of 10 children, I'm very serious when it comes to the safety of my children. So I do not want to downplay abuse. Our church has a terrible history of abuse. But and that's a tough one. Are they going to be able to? The bill proposes to remove the Catholic right to the seal of confession, protecting priests' right to refuse provide private information divulged during confession. Now, if priests do that on their own, here's the problem. If you do it for one thing, you're going to have to do it for all things. And I don't know that they're going to be able to get that through the courts. So I understand the reasoning. The reasoning behind it is very important. But that is, again, one of those abuses. That's a slippery slope of taking away people's rights that you probably should not breach. Biden, while he was in Canada, said something today. I applaud China for stepping up. He meant Canada.
One that unites humane policies that both secure borders and support people. In the United States, we're expanding legal pathways for migration to seek safety and humanitarian basis.
We're expanding legal pathways for migration. Why? They can just come in any way they want right now. Why would they bother for the... Anyway.
While discouraging unlawful migration that feeds exploitation and human trafficking.
Are they?
So today, I applaud China for stepping up. I applaud Canada.
Anyway, so that's that. Putin says Russia will station nuclear weapons in Belarus. Oh, that's not good. And how is he going to station nuclear weapons in Belarus? How? Isn't Belarus its own country? Anyway, Ukraine called for an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council after President Vladimir Putin said Russia would station nuclear weapons in Belarus. That's not good. Read the article. It's not good. In legal insurrection, France, 1 million have taken to the streets again against Macron's push to raise the retirement age. So in the United States, the retirement age, if you were born after 1960, I believe, is for Social Security type stuff, is 67 years old. And people are just really mad that people are thinking about changing it to 70, which people are living longer. I don't know why they wouldn't. It doesn't make sense to me. Well, in France, the French Parliament and Macron want to raise the retirement age in France from 62 to 64, and they're having riots in the streets. Millions of people in the streets rioting over the idea that they might raise the retirement age to 64. So that's part of the peaceful protest there. I don't know what that really is. It's just some shit burning. So anyway, the peaceful protest in France, millions strong in the streets because of that. Apparently, the Taiwan president's going to visit the U.S., but no word on a House Speaker meeting. That's always a touchy subject with Taiwan versus China and having diplomatic exchanges. It's that'll be interesting. In the New York Post, Miranda Devine has a editorial: White House push for woke foreign policy will backfire with our socially conservative allies. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby has been making curious pronouncements from the White House podium lately. LGBTQ rights are a core part of our foreign policy. Really? Why? What does that mean exactly? In fact, a couple of days later, he warned that the U.S. will have to take a look at imposing economic sanctions on predominantly Christian Uganda if an anti-LGBTQ identity law is enacted that was just passed by its parliament. That would be really unfortunate. So, interesting. Now, I'm not sure why we have any strong relations with Uganda anyway, but there's several countries in Europe and Africa and Asia where if they're going to base our foreign policy on what the LGBTQIA plus LMNOP rights are, it's going to be interesting because we certainly don't have sanctions on China for slavery. So this is it's interesting. Anyway, in the PJ Media, torture, sexual abuse, sterilization, Uyghur camp survivor testifies at a congressional hearing. You definitely want to see that. In Daily Caller, family of Marine killed during Afghanistan withdrawal. Stunned to learn that snipers could have taken out the suicide bomber. Sergeant Lieutenant Vargas Andrews, revelation that he could have that he could have shot the Abbey Gate suicide bomber before the attack ever occurred shocked family and advocates of one of the service members killed in the attack. They told the Daily Caller. Vargas Andrews told Congress earlier this month that he was denied permission to engage the individual who killed 13 U.S. service members assisting in the Afghanistan withdrawal. They said nobody knew where he was at the time or what he looked like at the time. Shanna Chappell, the mother of 20-year-old Lance Corporal Kareem Nikui, who died in the blast, told the Daily Caller. So there was a Marine sniper who testified, and he said they had lock on the guy, and they apparently was he told to stand down? I can't remember. Anyway, they could have taken him out before he set off his bomb, and it didn't happen. So obviously, families of people who died in that bombing are probably going to be concerned about that. Just I'm guessing, right? I think so. Daily Wire, Biden administration declares a major disaster in Mississippi after dozens of tornadoes dozens were killed by tornadoes. There's an EF4 tornado with gusts up to 170 miles an hour leveled most of the Rolling Fork community, a town of about 2,000 near Mississippi's west border, according to the NOAA. And so they've declared a disaster in that area, which is good. He's declaring a disaster area in a Republican state. So I'll give him credit for that one. Philly residents urged not to drink tap water after a chemical spill. And that's not just there. In fact, you definitely want to read this one, Gun Fox. But also in Minnesota, there was a nuclear plant that was having some seepage and getting into water along the Mississippi. So there's a couple states where there's some water issues coming up. Check your local news and keep on top of that just to make sure you're being safe. And this is an article just on how San Francisco uses taxpayer money to you just got to read it. I can't even go into it. The nominee for the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, has withdrawn after Republican criticism. This is the guy who didn't know shit about aviation. Phil Washington, chief executive of the Denver International Airport, has withdrawn his nomination to be the next administrator of the Federal Aviation Administration. The FAA recently come under fire after a string of near misses between planes and a software glitch that shut down commercial air traffic for the first time since September 11, 2001. Terrorist attacks. The agency has been without a Senate-approved administrator for almost a year. Washington may have been barely qualified to lead the FAA, though, but the agency is going through big changes and both administrative and technological challenges. The FAA does not need barely qualified. So if you saw any of those hearings, you would realize that guy was the wrong guy for the job. In human events, if you're not familiar with Kelly J. Keene, she's a women's right advocate, part of a group called Let Women Speak. And she was speaking down in New Zealand, and basically the trans mob attacked her, basically, and other women's rights activists, because that seems to be the thing to do these days. So you can take a look at that article in Breitbart. And speaking of that, tennis great Martina Navratilova praises World Athletics trans ban as a step in the right direction. So the World Athletic, what is it called? The World Athletics Council has moved to ban male athletes who identify as women from competing against biological females at international events, as it should be. Lord Coe, head of the World Athletics, said the new rules were set to kick in on March 31st. Now, that debate is not over, unfortunately. There's certainly a lot of trans activists, so-called human rights activists and whatnot, who just insist that this should not happen. This should not happen. I don't know that competing in a certain category is a human right. You know, if you want to compete in something, you can compete in a category that fits your situation. But clearly, physiological females, there's a category for physiological females for a reason. And so good on them for for doing this. But that you know that the activists are going to be howling mad and are howling mad, and you can find them on Twitter talking about it. All right, I'm going to leave you the last three. Why are Medicaid's fund being used for gender-affirming care? Is a PJ Media article. In the Federalist, you've probably never been Woman of the Year, but these men have. It's going through all the women who've been Women of the Year at different points, which is amazing how many women have been Women of the Year in certain aspects. In RJ Media, prominent Hollywood Native American turns out to be not to be Native American at all. I think we already knew this. Heather Ray, who has parlayed her Cherokee heritage into becoming what the New York Post called Hollywood's top Native American producer. She's a member of the the Indigenous Alliance of the Academy of Motion Pictures and has previously led Sundance Institute's Native American program. There's just one catch. Heather Ray isn't really Native American at all. Instead, she's just one more example of the recurring phenomenon today of white people attempting to escape the stigma of whiteness by posing as a person of color. So you can read about that. She's the Rachel Dolezal of Native American culture. And then finally, so apparently some diaper companies have been supporting Planned Parenthood. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Diaper companies supporting Planned Parenthood. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? All right, and that, and what was this one? Oh, and this is Holly Holm. Okay, we're done. That's it. I got through it, even though I didn't go get too much into it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta go. Holy smokes! Whole lot of news, lots of things to check up on. But that's it. I gotta go. I'm here Monday through Friday. Okay, let me back up. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Oh wow, we've been kind of light today. I wonder where everyone is. Anyway, hit the like button, share the stream, do all that stuff. I gotta go. Thanks for being here. I'm gonna cut it short. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.